Okay, I think this computer can finally handle making some video. I want to start off with your book. If you could turn, if you need to hit pause or whatever, turn to page 36. We're going to read through the part that we were supposed to read yesterday, and then I'll walk you through the 3 sentences with relative clauses and go over the answers from yesterday. I have not had a chance. It's been a lot of work. I've not had a chance to grade all of yours yet. You guys are the last class, but I'm going to go over the answers with you here to provide feedback this way. And then I'll get those graded this afternoon after I'm done. But it was already 11 o'clock by the time I got to yours by putting these up on YouTube and stuff, so I apologize. So on page 36, we're going to start on line 20, and that is the first relative sentence. Sentence with a relative clause. Sie blätterte ein wenig in den Büchern, die auf den Tisch lagen. That begins there on line 20 and goes to line 22. So your first job was to box in the verbs. The first verb in the main clause is blätterte. Should have had a box around that. And then the verb in the relative clause is lagen. Okay. Then we want to underline what is the subject. Now the verb is blätterte, so we're looking for a singular noun or pronoun, and this follows regular verb subject order here. Sie is the subject and therefore in nominative, so you should have underlined it. And then down at the bottom on the relative clause, you need to think about what is lying. And the only thing that is in there besides the prepositional phrase is the relative pronoun die, referring back to the books. Okay, then you were supposed to circle anything that is in accusative, but in this sentence, all there are prepositional phrases, in den Büchern and auf dem Tisch. I'm putting those in parentheses. So there were no accusative elements in the first one. And let's see if I can get this to work here for you. If you can see it. Okay. Oh, is it going to be backwards? Oh, shoot. I didn't think about that. I can't write in mirror form. But maybe you can read it this way. Sie is the subject. Die, also the subject. And then the verbs are blätterte and lagen. As we move forward after line 20, it says, da hier war eine Stelle mit einem Lesezeichen with a bookmark und mit einem feinen Bleistiftstrich am Rand. Ein altmodisches Buch von Schiller war es. Friedrich Schiller was an author that wrote at the same time as Goethe in the 18th and 19th centuries, considered one of the 2 best authors in German history. Die Seite handelte von der Philosophie der alten Griechen. We read this before we left on Friday. Sophie las nachdenklich den Text. Wo hatte sie diesen Worten gelesen? Und war es nicht erst heute gewesen? She's remembering that she read these in the Flugblatt, which I gave to you earlier in the week. Das Flugblatt. Dort standen diese Sätze. And it says, einen langen, qualvollen Augenblick war Sophie von Angst erfüllt. Filled von Angst. Eine Wut gegen Hans. An anger against Hans stieg in ihr auf. Why he? Warum gerade er? Dachte er nicht an den Vater, an die Lieben daheim, die in Gefahr kamen? So kind of a goofy sentence here. This is our second one that has a relative clause. Did he not think about the father, his father, and on those whom he loved at home? Die in Gefahr kamen. There's your relative clause, die in Gefahr kamen, which would come into danger. So let's take a look at this sentence as we diagram it. If you're copying it down, the verbs in this sentence comes first in the main clause because it is a question. And at the relative clause, then it obviously has to go to the end because those are the rules. So common is the verb in the relative clause. The subject should come right after the question verb at the beginning. So we're going to underline er in the main clause. And then inside the relative clause, die in Gefahr kamen. In Gefahr is a prepositional phrase, which leaves the only word left in the sentence, and every clause has to have a subject. as being D. So we're going to underline D. Okay. And then what is in accusative is supposed to be circled. We have two accusative, actually we have three accusative prepositional phrases. So we'll start with an den Vater, an die Lieben, and in Gefahr. All of those are accusative prepositional phrases. There are no indirect objects. So as we look at that, I should have thought this through. I probably should have done this on whiteboard, but I'm working from the office today. He is the subject, the relative pronoun is the subject, and then the verbs are dachte and kommen. As we move on in our reading, it says, line 3, warum ließ nicht die Politiker dafür sorgen, dass etwas geschah? Das Schrecklichste aber war, dass nun nicht länger in Sicherheit war. War vogelfrei. The worst part was that he was no longer safe. He was unprotected, free as a bird. Sophie versuchte, ihre Angst abzuschütteln, to shake off her fear. Sie versuchte nicht mehr an das Flugblatt zu denken und sie dachte nicht mehr an Widerstand. She didn't think about the Flugblatt anymore. She didn't think about resistance. She thought about her brother. Sie dachte an ihren Bruder, den sie lieb hatte. Okay? 1 second. We have an email here we're supposed to reply to. And that is our third set of that's our third sentence with the relative clause. So let's identify that. She did not think about her brother. I'm sorry, she did think about her brother, whom she loved. So if we take a look at that sentence and copy it down, the verbs need boxed in. That's dachte and hatte. Okay. Then the subject is going to be sie in the main clause and sie in the relative clause. Okay, that's why the relative pronoun is den, because it's not the subject, but rather the direct object, which means we need to circle den, yeah, and the prepositional phrase an ihren Brudern. Both of those will be in accusative. Okay, so let's go back to our reading, and 1 second here, there's a reply. Okay. She thought of her brother. War jetzt bedroht. He was now threatened. Durfte sie ihn allein lassen? Was she supposed to leave him alone? Könnte sie hier da sitzen und zusehen? Could she just sit there and watch? Wie Hans ins Unglück lief. How Hans was simply lief, yeah, running into Unglück. Müsste sie nicht gerade jetzt ihm helfen? Did she not have to help him now? Mein Gott, konnte sie ihn nicht ans sichere Land zurückziehen und ihn den Eltern und dem Leben erhalten? She thinks, could he not go to a secure country, a place like die Schweiz, and keep his parents and his life? Aber sie wusste genau, hatte die Grenzen übersprungen. He crossed the line. Für ihn gab es kein Zurück mehr. There was no going back for Hans now. Endlich kam er. She asks him straight up, weißt du, woher die Flugblätter kommen? Sophie asked. Man soll heute manches nicht wissen, niemanden in Gefahr zu bringen. One shouldn't know some things to keep people from coming into danger. But Hans, allein schafft man so etwas nicht. Allein kommst du gegen sie nicht an. You can't accomplish something like this alone. You can't go up against this alone. In der folgenden Zeit kamen 3 weitere Blätter. der Weisse Rose. 3 more Flugblätter came. Sie wurden auch außerhalb der Universität gefunden. They were also found outside of the university und gelesen. In ganz München lagen sie da und dort in den Briefkästen. They were put in mailboxes. Und auch in anderen süddeutschen Städten gab sie plötzlich. Suddenly they showed up in other southern German cities. Dann sah man nichts mehr von ihnen. I'm going to sneeze. Then no one saw anything more of them, and they disappeared after the first 4 were written. Okay, your assignment today is to read to the star on page 41. And I'm looking through this, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to identify the relative pronouns and follow this, or the relative clauses, and do the same thing as we did yesterday. I want to make sure that I give you the correct count of them. Let me go back through and find them. One second. I'm reading back through. Oh, there are none here. Okay, well, then your assignment is just to read to the star on page 41. And probably won't have anything to upload today. Just read to page 41. That'll be your only assignment. Okay, have a good day. Email me with questions.